Anyone who's aware of what the word Grimdark means should also be well aware by now that its origin is the tagline of the Warhammer 40K franchise. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. But I would put this to you. When has there ever been a time in any history, real or fictional, where at least some part of the world and/or universe, depending on the setting, wasn't on fire more or less perpetually? You'll remember from previous videos my espousing the objective truth in the Sith Code, specifically its opening statement that peace is a lie, there is only passion. And if you're a long-term viewer, you'll have seen me trot out this diagram relating the grimdark subgenre of fantasy to its more optimistic, delirious, and gray-skinned counterparts, such as Lord of the Rings, Winnie the Pooh, and Game of Thrones for respective examples. Now, say it with me, gents.
And now for something completely different.
Originally, this video was supposed to be the philosophy of pirates. However, upon further review, it dawned on me that not only are these two sides of the same coin, but that coin has been in my hands far longer than I'd originally thought. A positive side effect of which is my being able to shill both my Flint Pirate Academy novels and my new Tao of Grimdark book all in one sitting. For you see, the genesis of the former's thematic core was this one line from Jack Sparrow while he was revealing to Will Turner that his father, Bootstrap Bill, was a pirate. The only rules that really matter are these: what a man can do and what he can't do. The rule of nature is power. Power meaning the ability to do. If you have it within your power to take what you want, but you refuse to out of some abstract moral constipation, far from creating a better world, all you'll have actually done is cede a controlling stake in the universe to those of lesser character. This is the lesson of power. Power is nothing without the will to use it. A gun that never fires is a convoluted paperweight. Saints and sinners each abound, but both will die and pass on, leaving history visibly marked, but fundamentally unmoved. Likewise, the lowly wretches who turn its insatiable wheel are as menial as they are expendable. They are the fuel and lubricant for the Omniverse's ravenous motors, just as the hegemons and demons are the throttle and sanding grit for its axles. But where thence does this leave our swashbuckling outlaws? Well, to slightly paraphrase the eternal Emperor Valkorion, a man can have anything if he is willing to sacrifice. Your privilege is the dirt, your freedom, the wars you wage, your birthright, the losses you suffer, your entitlement, the pain you endure, and when darkness finds you, you will face it alone. Like all primates, humans have an inbuilt sense of fairness, but the only right in the jungle is might, who deserves what is meaningless. War is not about who's right but who's left, and there is power in that. Now, depending on your disposition, you might either find that sentiment horrifically depressing or profoundly liberating. In case you can't tell, I'm personally described by the latter. I'm unaware of any official data on this point, but I'd be willing to bet that a connection exists between the people who play Minecraft solo and who enjoy the Soulsborne experience beyond just those being two of the most popular game franchises ever put to market. And you might think that Minecraft's not very grimdark, but I promise you it is, at least insofar as I've come to understand the term. For you see, as stated, in my view, grimdark is not a genre so much as it is a thematic tone of personal empowerment, the inherent nobility and primal necessity thereof, and of rightful righteous anger at its denial. Moreover, grimdark pairs the unrepentant pursuit and possession of personal power, something all other sorts of fantasy not merely lack but outright vilify, with an admission that human virtues are as much a strength-based luxury as are vices. Think about it. You don't get to be an asshole if you're weak and vulnerable, but neither can you be a champion. Likewise, in order to be generous, you first need to acquire wealth to be generous with. Merely having wealth and power does not a hero or villain create, nor does the desire of the same automatically make one a tyrant. This was always my biggest grievance with the original Star Wars trilogy's conception of the Force and of the Jedi. Merely having the power to kill does not make you a monster. Wantonly destroying planets for no purpose other than your own amusement does. Now consider the pirate who kills a few people for profit, and compare that to the politician who orders thousands butchered for their land, or the corporation who lets faulty products go to market because the potential lawsuits and payouts are cheaper than a few extra months of R&D. Who's the greater villain? Now ponder on who it is that more often gets sent to the gallows, and why. I'll give you a clue. I've already told you the answer to the second question. But monsters killing monsters for just causes is not the totality of the Grimdark package. After all, plenty of our modern-day heroes do exactly that, if not worse, and are still derisively called one-dimensional and childish by people who've probably never read more than 140 characters at a stretch before. No, you'll notice I've yet to mention the Lovecraftian element, which is how Minecraft fits into this whole jumbled mess of a thesis. To put it as plainly as I can, the quintessence of Grimdark, and I think the main reason behind its surge in popularity, is its merging of power fantasy with cosmic horror. It is the ride of the Rohirrim on the Pelennor fields, the flight of the Valkyries at Ragnarok, the noble dead rising for Armageddon. In a word, Grimdark is the essence of the last stand. It is the final charge against the darkness, the last bulwark against the terror, the futile rage against the dying light. It is the folly of dreams, the impossibility of heaven, the injustice of paradise lost, but it is also the redeeming spark of choice, of freedom. Even if that choice and freedom is only to pick up your cross and carry it uphill, naked except for the knowledge that you will never reach the top. The freedom to spit in the eye of God, even if he'll never see or notice it. It is finding peace in an empty world, making solace in a hollow cause, deriving comfort from the knowledge that you're no special hero, no exceptional metaphysical avatar, no destroyer of worlds, no reclaimer of lost paradise, no reshaper of destiny. It is to recognize that we are, all of us, but candles riding on an infinite black ocean, and that in that grim darkness there can be no happily ever after, for can be not even any ever after. But that doesn't mean all is lost. Beyond the reach of your meager flame there be many, many monsters. Be at peace with that, but do not sink quietly into that good night. For the mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven. For when nothing is true, nothing is forbidden, and when nothing is forbidden, natural law prevails. So, in summary gist, when executed correctly, Grimdark is both a mirror to all of humanity's blemishes, but is also, in itself in toto, an exploratory vehicle of what I like to call pragmatic virtue. The pirate is not merciful out of altruism, but simple long-term self-interest. Why put himself up to all the risk and trouble of killing everything in sight when, by restraint, he can more efficiently encourage compliance? Likewise, the soldier who shoots through his enemy's human shield prevents even greater atrocities, by thus discouraging the enemy from dragging future victims into danger. Just so is the greater hero the undead creature who'll slay the decrepit old god, the assassin who slays the tyrannical knights, the barbarian who abducts the imprisoned maiden, or the outlaw who will rob the robber baron blind. But by that same coin, the reason the grim darkness is grim and dark is because, for every virtuous outlaw who wants to tear down the Matrix, there are 10,000 grinning serpents and 10 times that many cowardly dogs who'll fight to the bitter end to uphold it, and because serpents don't profit from Mithridatism. And finally, on that note, I can think of no better way to cap this piece off than with my own self-constructed piratical code, itself a product of the aforementioned lines and axioms as well as Miyamoto Musashi's Way of Walking Alone from the Book of Five Rings, the Assassin's Creed, and the historical custom of the Brothers of the Coast from 1640. As always, I won't waste your time reciting the whole on-screen chart verbatim. However, I would like to just quickly point out the irony of point number 13 so as to spare some nerdy commenter the effort. And with that, we wrap up yet another snapshot of my pandemonium. That means House of Demons for those who don't think or speak in metaphorical layered cakes. But in any case, leave your thoughts down in the usual place. If you were intrigued by this, then consider checking out the aforementioned books on Amazon, available in hardcover, paperback, and Kindle ebook formats. And until next time, stay safe, stay sane, and always remember the immortal words of the late, great Charlie Chaplin.
In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite.